Hi, my name is Joe Wood with New Mexico Pest Management. I'm doing a video on chemical treatments for bed bugs. So we've got three main things that we really need to pay a lot of attention to. The first one, the most important one, is inspections. Without inspections, you're not going to be able to find them, you're not going to be able to get the pesticide to them, and you're not going to be able to get to where the eggs and the harborage and stuff is. The second one is harborage. Harborage is really important, and we'll get more into that later, what we're going to do with some harborage, how harborage is related to the bed bugs, what bed bugs like when they're choosing their harborage. And then we also have our treatment. Now our treatment is the last thing we're going to do because we really need to know what's going on before we even start trying to use any chemicals to treat for the bed bugs. So over here. Alright, so let's treat this couch. First we're going to do is get rid of any harborage we can move away from here. What I mean by harborage is things the insects will want or like to hide in. And that's with these blankets. We will directly put them right into the dryer at 40 minutes. 30 minutes says kills the eggs and adults. 10 minutes lets everything get nice and thoroughly heated up. And so that's why I say 40 minutes. So we'll put these straight from here into a bag or into the dryer. So we'll put them there for right now. Now, for treating this couch, what we're going to be doing is inspecting and treating, inspecting and treating. So when I get down here, we're going to be looking for harborage for these things. So when I talk about looking for harborage, I'm talking about something that they want to hide in, which will touch the top and bottom of them, makes them feel good and secure. So I'm going to be opening these areas here, and we can treat inside here and inside here. There is no reason in the world to treat this right here or this right here. Bed bugs are not going to spend enough time on the pesticide for it to do anything. So then that means you're spraying this here for you or the kids or the pets to lay on. So let's not do that. With these, some cushions even have zippers, so you can even just zipper them off. If there's even bed bugs in here, you're looking here for eggs and bed bugs. So your eggs are white and about 1/8 of the size of rice. They look just like rice, but about 1/8 of the size. And so you're looking for that inside here. And I'll have more on how to treat for eggs and stuff later on in the video. So this can go into the washer and then the dryer. You want to pay attention to the labels on your couch, as well as the labels on the pesticide, of course. But the label on your couch will let you know whether you can, what temperature you can dry it at, if it'll shrink, anything like that. You really want to be careful. Don't ruin your couch just because of bed bugs. You don't have to. So after we treat that or take that off, that's done. We'll do the same thing with these cushions here. Get those out of the way after they're done. And then we're going to be getting down in here. We're going to want to check these creases here. This is harborage. This is harborage. In little areas like that is harborage. Use your flashlight so you can find these things. All these little areas in here is where they're going to want to hide. They're going to want to hide back in here. Like I said before, in here. You're going to be checking this in here. These cushions were pressed up against the back in here. So you're going to want to make sure this gets lifted up and treated back in here, underneath here. So it's going over this with a fine-tooth comb is the only way to really do a good job. Then once you finish with all of the fronts, and you have all the front here done, and all the front here done, you flip the couch over. You look at the back. You don't have to treat a broad area. We're still treating cracks and crevices. That's where these guys are spending their time, and that's where they're going to get the lethal dose with the chemical. If you treat on a surface area, they're not going to get a lethal dose, and it's just wasting pesticide or putting pesticide out for you all. And I don't think you guys need pesticide. So You treat the back, cracks and crevices. You tip the couch again, and you treat underneath the couch. You can even take the feet off the couch. See if they're hiding where the feet adjust and fit right up under the couch. And then after you figure out what kind of populations, how bad it is in here, then you move on from here and you check this chair. This is great harborage. The folds in here, the folds in here. You kick this out. You check this. You check underneath in here. You tip it over. You inspect all of this and treat. Inspect all of this and treat. Remember, you're not treating this surface because bed bugs won't spend enough time on the pesticide. Underneath, you have a lot of woodwork under there. So you got to hit the cracks and crevices under there. Where the springs are, they'll hide underneath the springs in the fabric there. You can spend 20 minutes just treating this couch. And if you don't spend your time doing it like that, hitting those cracks and crevices, inspecting really thorough, you're going to start missing stuff, and then you're going to have callback, or you're going to have to go through this whole thing again, more money. Just spend the time while you can. We're in the bedroom. Now, this gets more difficult when you're talking about inspections and harborage. You know, you're inspecting the harborage. So both are kind of together here. So here's our harborage here with our blankets. We're gonna, when you're doing this inspection, you're gonna want to be pulling these back slowly, looking at them, looking at every single one, pulling them back, pulling them back. And so then when you get down to this fitted sheet, a lot of times what will happen is when you look at the bottom or up towards the head, you'll have some spots of blood. Now, when you have the spots of blood, you know you have bed bugs. So when we're looking for where they are, we're going to take this fitted sheet and just take it right off. And then you're going to be looking and inspecting the underneath of that fitted sheet around here. You're going to be inspecting here. We have a cushion on top of the bed itself. So we've got a lot of harborage we've got to go look through. And then once we get through all of this, then we're running into, here's where your cracks are. You've got your bed right up against this post here, and this is where the bed bugs are going to want to hide in here. And then after that, you have your cracks of the wood, where the wood is in the bedpost, where this is in the bedpost. So what you have to do to really go through this thorough is get rid of this junk right now. You're going to take all of this, all of this bedding goes in the dryer or washed or both. And so when you wash them, you always want to put the dryer on high heat. So if it can't handle it, then you want to wash it. And if it can't handle that, you may want to think about some Nuven strips, Nuven, and that has DDVP in it, and you can put this stuff in a bag and put the Nuven strip in with the bag. But you have to leave it in there for 2 to 3 weeks for it to really be able to circulate in there good. When you get technology involved, technology and pesticides just don't go together. You can hurt chips, stuff like that. You don't want to get aerosols inside of these things. You can still hurt them. But that's where, when I was talking about earlier with Nuven strips, that's where we can use these. You can put this stuff in a box and set it up to where it's going to be nice and airy, where air movement can move around in that box. And then you could put a Nuven strip in the box and then put the box in a plastic bag so it's sealed up nicely, and you could just set it somewhere in the closet or something. Um, and then that is the best way to treat things like this. Things like this, of course, you could just take everything out and either put it in the dryer for 40 minutes on high, or that's the way I would do it. I would not do a chemical treatment on anything like this. You don't do a chemical treatment on anything with the bedspreads or any cloth, any stuffed animals. All of that stuff is going to be dried on the high heat at 40 minutes. All of this stuff we're going to be putting into a box and using Nuven strips. Now this, we get out, we can inspect it, see if there's any activity going on in this, and then set it aside. This stuff here, the same thing. Check out, see if there's any activity, and then if there's not, set it aside. Once you finish with all of this, this will go in the box with the Nuven strip. But this basket here, you can actually treat the basket with everything out, of course. And so that is, with here, this is a good spot, depending on the populations of bedbugs, for bedbugs to hide in, because it is so close to the host, which will be you. And so then if we look over here at the post, here's where we come in. And this is so important to treat areas like this, and then on the side in here, and underneath in here, and then you go further down and you have all the other cracks and stuff. And so that is why it takes a couple hours just in a bedroom to be able to treat it correctly. Now we're going to start treating, okay? I don't have bed bugs, so this stuff doesn't really matter. All of this stuff is gone, okay? This gets put up away from everything. This gets treated. We treat it along underneath here, and we inspect it at the same time. So all of this area right underneath here is treated. All of this is treated. Spraying on top of this does nothing. Okay, if you don't get these bed bugs where they live, you will not be doing a bed bug treatment. Spraying up here is not where they're living. They are living in these cracks. Now, granted, you do have something touching the top and the bottom here, so, but this is where they're going to want to hide, in these folds and stuff. And then after all of this stuff is away, and you're treating this, and you're done treating that, then you're lifting this up. And now you're treating this. You're taking this off of the stand, and you're setting this over on the other side. So there will be nothing when we finish with this. There will be nothing on this bed frame. Now we've got where we're going to treat. We know our inspection. We know our harborage. We know what to do with our harborage. Everything that you wear or kids play with gets clean, dried. You don't spray any pesticides on anything like that. So now here, let's say we have some eggs or a lot of bed bugs up in here in this crease. What you can do is, this would be alcohol, and of course you're going to have gloves on while you're doing all this. So this is water, but you could use alcohol, and this is how you can get the egg part, is you just get this on there, get those eggs off. A lot of people say use a vacuum cleaner, but a vacuum cleaner that's strong enough to actually take these eggs off of this, because they're stuck to it with their saliva, you're talking about spending $1,000 for a vacuum cleaner just to get rid of bed bug eggs. So really, you're gonna be in your face anyway down here. So just with this, with some alcohol, doing this and getting those hot spots, finding those eggs. Those eggs look like a piece of rice, but they're about 1/8 of the size. You can see them with the naked eye. You're gonna see shed cast skins. So that's the outer skeleton of bed bug skins. you're going to see all of that. You're going to see bed bugs in here. And that's why an inspection's so important, because you know you can get to the eggs with this, some alcohol, do it in there, dip it back in here. You know, it's okay. You want that stuff floating in that alcohol, and then you're getting the bed bug eggs off like that. Okay, so that is really how you contend with bed bug eggs. If you want to use a vacuum cleaner and just this, you know, that's fine too, but then you have to think about, what am I going to do with the vacuum bag? Did they all go down into the bag? The vacuum cleaners that we use, you know, a $300 vacuum cleaner really isn't going to cut it for when we're talking about bed bugs. So that's where I use a toothbrush and alcohol to get to the bed bugs, the areas with them. And when you drop those, if you have any bed bugs on here and you drop them in the alcohol, they're going to die too. Let's say we found a medium-sized population here. Not too bad, but we've got bed bugs in the cracks here and everything. So now we're starting to get this stuff here. We take this off. We inspect all of this. We can treat underneath here, the desk, and underneath in the cracks there. We take things like this, turn them over, inspect them, treat maybe where the legs are going in. Now we start checking down underneath the bed. But then if we're not having really high populations once we start getting away from the bed, then when we start looking at things like this dresser, we can do more inspecting than treating. Okay? That is, I can't just keep saying it enough. The inspection part of this treatment is the most important. Chemical part of it is probably 10% of the treatment for bed bugs. Inspection part is 90%, and let's go over 100, and then harborage. No. So to inspect this correctly, we're going to be taking everything out of the drawers and looking through the things. Then we inspect the drawers themselves. We use our flashlight and we go up in the cracks back behind the drawers. And then here, once we're getting out to here, if we're not seeing anything, then we can just do a quick inspection here, move this, check underneath it, check these things out real quick. And then what we'll do is, when you look behind you with this dresser, chances are we're not going to have any bed bugs over here, but we inspect anyway. But that doesn't mean we have to treat everything. So we inspect it real thorough and see what's going on. And with bed bugs, you can have them mainly the bedroom and the living room. If you get tired of the bed bugs getting you in bed and you move into the living room and start sleeping in there, guess what? The bed bugs are going to follow you into the living room, and that's where the primary infestation is going to be. And then the blood and everything gets on your couches and everything. That's pretty gross. So take care of the bed bugs before they get out of real good control, and use these ideas with the inspection, with just checking every little crack and crevice in your bedroom, and then using the pesticides responsibly. Always read the labels. Don't go by what anybody says on the internet on how to treat. Read the labels, see what it says, and then you can use us as a guide